Welcome back, best of the best, most ethical practitioners of light and love who reciprocate their very best equally and always. I am drawing in again angels of light and love, ancestors of the like, actually all my ancestors, all of our ancestors. Angels of light and love, please direct and protect these messages, our chakras, our auras, our space, and that of your children's. I also call upon our star family. I also call upon our star families of light and love. I have 20% battery here, so let's also call upon the elementals of the like, ascended masters of the like, and I think we can go from there. Lord Vishnu, and of course my beloved goddess Kali. Yeah, such a good friend. And since we're talking about the afterlife here, more inclusive of it, we're going to call upon Anubis. So I think Lilith also is wanting to come through. So Lilith, you may. Freya, you may. Thank you very much for your blessings of your presence, your direction, and sharing that with us. So I received some messages, and this reading is mainly devoted to my fellow assassins who have sacrificed their time, their efforts, their energy for my path and the progression of it. And especially those who came to the ultimate sacrifice when it came to life or death, and ultimately the latter. Thank you very, very much. This reading is for you. What Spirit has to say, Jesus Christ, and all that I've drawn upon. I was called to work with this, the Shinan Oracle. I received this. I've been very reluctant to read from this deck publicly, only because it feels so foreign to me, but I'm told this is like the second time after especially receiving those messages within the past, 4 hours or less to select from here, that there will be definite messages from this particular deck. I received it used from another individual who just absolutely cherished it. And I just wanted some variation because I knew that prospectively I was going to need that, draw upon different energies for that growth mindset and allow for that expansion sheerly enabled through our personal reach. And so I chose this, and then as a secondary, Healing Light Tarot. Okay, I think this is the first edition or the second edition. I don't know. I have both. So I have yet to see the variation. All right. All right, so let's gather from here. I may need to read from the book. I'm not really sure. It's quite thin right there. But I would say, from what I recall, it's, let me just, okay. Okay, so they have some briefs. I reached 38. This is it in Spanish too? Primarily in Spanish. So we reached 38. Okay. I don't know what that means. I'll read it if I reach it in this deck. But otherwise, maybe that's something to draw back upon. Oh wait. Oh shoot. How did I do this? Like that. How did it go? Okay. I think I only used it once upon bonding. And then it just felt so foreign to me. I think they used tapestry here, the art of weaving. You know, like back in the day when when slavery was at an all-time high, like super popularized, they did quilting in which delivered messages within this pattern. So not only was it an essence of artistry, but a channel of communications from community to community to provide direction and help navigate through the system. And so they created another language with a symbology behind it. So we must honor the creators, those who basically risked the realm within their artistry, and that it did come to life or death. So then the weaving, when we look at like the tribal arts, we're looking within that realm as well. Okay, so I didn't quite understand it when I first picked it up, but I get the vibe of that here. Okay, I think it's also understanding the frequency that were kind of intermeshed of the same cloth. Just different colors, and yeah, so let's go with that. Okay, so Spirit, what is it that you want to convey through all the figures I have channeled, that I've requested? Oh my goodness. So 40 pronounced, and there's quite a few here. I don't know if I'm going to pick up all of them because it's like a good chunk of the deck, but we have toe. Okay. It's one like climbing up this trunk of a flower, the stem of it, and it's in its wilting stage. No, it's not toe, it's toe. I'm called to look up what that is. This plant is connected with the spirit of discernment, humility, and bravery. Very few are willing to work with this energy, and those who do approach To'e with great respect and caution. This card can help slow down and carefully consider the current medicine path before proceeding. If one takes too much of this plant, it is possible to suffocate, go insane, and experience blindness. If a precise dosage of this medicine is taken, To'e can completely deliver the awareness to a new time-space reality where infinite new possibilities are made accessible. This can make it possible to create completely new worlds that are difficult to conceive of otherwise. How interesting, because the Healing Light Tarot is so expansive within its realm. So it uses past philosophies that are threaded into our own realities. That it's a base language that created all that which we've developed from there. What else do we want to say about that? Very cosmic in its feels, also drawing upon the energies of like mythology. And so I think that was like a good bridge. I only read the top card only because it fell on my recipient side, the outermost left side of my foot while touching it. So when you look at if people are like, I feel that people are into shoes here, that when you look at the logo, it's usually on the outskirts. The branding of that which we endorse. So we get Hermes feels here. But let's go ahead with this. So you know exactly what I'm talking about within its imagery, the artistry here. Okay, came in pronounced, accentuated. Red, black, white, and navy with like some orange, red, and fuchsia. I'm getting fuchsite is the stone that we should be working with, which does have those like pink spots in there, which is ruby. Oh no, I'm thinking of fuchsite with ruby. Okay, yeah. Very much like a heart-to-heart stone. for those who do like earth magic or even appreciate that, that's something that maybe you should have in tow. Just a suggestion here. So, yeah, what I'm noticing here are alternative brackets between red and black. I'm getting more of a sense of completion within groundedness. So it's the root chakra intermeshed with the protection of the earth star chakra. Yeah, there's it's, how do I say it? It's like when you put something in brackets, it's it has its own particular individual subset of a formula. So not only is it like a subtitle, but when you're doing math, those that which are encased in brackets, it comes first. It's so that's rooted ancestry here. Part of our foundations is not just what we build, but that which supports us. Oh my goodness, holy smokes. Holy smokes. So what do we want to say about this? Oh, you know that game Asteroids or something like that in computer where it was like pixelated, you know, like that. It's kind of like that. Asteroids, you see. So also drawing in cosmic energies. Yeah, so within the brackets, it's what must be conducted first, addressed first before the string of implication of calculations. So that is what produces the accuracy of the output. Yeah. Oh my goodness. So this is interdependent. Kind of codependent though. Articulations. Yeah, because you see all these articulation points here within the bends. Interesting how each bracket shows the divination of as above, so below. If you look at the like tentacles, the sides of it, you see the brackets, and then how it ultimately ends as above, so below, on both sides, left and right. So this is ultimately balanced within its circumferential atmosphere. Okay. And the huge dependency, I usually don't talk about codependency as a beneficial thing, as a positive thing, but here it is, because the encompassing circle, or the square, which is about foundations, emperor energy, accountability, in sum, is not just looking at it as though you created it yourself. This is doing it all together, which means those that have passed on, whether they did good deeds or bad deeds, here in the afterlife, you get a more comprehensive view without the nature of being bogged down by the human conditions. So and that's part of why hell is so the essence of hell is so cumbersome. It's because you have a more expansive view, and you realize your wrongs within its fullest magnitude, more full or fuller than what you did while alive here. So and then, you know, the good deeds are also magnified within the other polarity. Yeah. So there's that. Okay, so we got it accentuated. Let me try to pronounce this. Pichakonon kene. Pichakonon kene. 40. It says Pichakonon means back to back in Shipibo. The kene represents two people with their heads turned against each other, looking in different directions. This design is used by couples who are breaking ties or members of the community who need space in order to promote greater peace for the whole. Pechakonan kene encourages separation, creating distance between two people or spirits. This design helps create the space necessary for tranquility and clarity of the mind. This is good. I thought it was like moving in a direction that was not within context to what I just channeled in. However, that's just surface level. So when you really look at this, looking at soul to soul, this is a dissolution. This is a breaking apart without the heartbreak. Yeah, ultimately, that's what it's saying. So when one moves, so when there's a separation of ties, there's a breakaway. And it's like, so one fell here. 5, Pinon, Colorado. That was on the doing side. Let me just leave it set down there, okay, because it might, I don't know what happened there, but that was, I think, truly the top of the deck. So we'll go with that, because I was called to do a second one. So back to here. Looking at that, even if it's just one individual or one party leaving the other, whereas one is implied as stationary, there's a new realm to be achieved. It's a leveling up by parting of ways. And even so, even the one that's implied as stationary, it's a new realm for them because of the comminglings, the energetic frequencies that were transpired. So ultimately, it's a new realm for both. And when we look at the passing aways of sorts to the afterlife, we're looking at needing to let go of any resentments, any essence of fear that keeps you from reaching on to the next thing that is that leads to your traction. So what I'm getting is like Marty McFly. He's like on his like little hoverboard, and he catches traction by like another vehicle coming through. It's getting that starting point, like that little energy boost from like learning while maneuvering, just like learning this new element of like this new discovery of mobility. That's what they're saying. Okay. So, I think all applies from what was just said. Because when you create distance, hindsight's 20/20, and you're able to look at things through an objective point of view. Yeah, okay, so we have that one, cool. And then 5 is inverted, which is Pinon, Colorado. This master plant is often seen in ayahuasca visions as a surgeon, and is able to make operations and adjustments on the body, mind, and spirit in small yet pivotal ways. These medicinal manipulations give way to deep connection with the dream world and can help heal the imagination. So we do have artists here, definitely, or creative minds. That's beautiful minds. Opinion, color. I don't know what that movie is about. A Beautiful Mind. I forgot. I don't know. Okay. Opinion, Colorado also helps in visualizing what needs to be healed within and what positive lifestyle changes can be made to live more joyfully. These improvements help the organism move freely and experience great lightness of being. So this is very much personalized. You're supposed to answer that for yourself as well as I. So that's why it is inverted on the action-oriented side. This is an action item. If you were to have a takeaway from the meeting, it is primarily this. 10:47 on the clock. So I'm going to put that in the box, like our inbox, okay, on the top cover. Okay. And then that on its side. And then we're going to move on to the Healing Light Tarot. Okay. So what other messages do you have for us? Okay, I need to go ahead and put these away. This was, I don't know how okay, let's do it like that. What other messages do you have for us within this front? Okay, Five of Swords. Oh yeah, this is definite. Five of Swords upright. Like it's, it's kind of like lifted up here. So this is definitely speaking of like the one up. When you're in a battle, and the Five of Wands elevates to the Five of Swords. That's no longer cosplay LARPing. This is something that's like, I wouldn't say bloodthirsty here, because that's more of like Ten of Wands, like execute. This is more like, I'm gonna win. I'm going to have the last word. Thus being the sword energy in tongue. This is somebody who has complete lashing out. When they're upset, they can say some things that are very much detrimental to the other being. So whether the hands are guarded or not, it's the spirit of linguistics that are behind this. Yeah. So whatever language you speak, something must be said about this, because it's like it's raised. The fact that the one up card is like lifted, almost like to the halfway point, and it's not really revealing the likeness of two beings. This like embryonic type of stage of gestation, as well as the Venn diagram or the vesica piscis, within the likeness of two beings. So, and then it opened up to the Six of Cups in reverse. So this is people who are really not your kin, not your kind, but though should not be undervalued as disposable energy. However, there is a breaking apart, a breaking of ways, in which we realize that the battle cannot be won within this atmosphere. So it's realizing we were here for a certain reason, and because of these disputes, like irreconcilable differences, that we must move on to other groupings that will help accentuate and enable our growth spurts. So this was just like the cosmic bug in the ear, where it's just giving us notice, like a little bit of an alarm, like that there's something to learn from another world, whether that be like in the afterlife, another dimension, whatever, or even just within this similar architecture, within similar environments that we were slotted upon within this phase. And it's also knowing the mediation of such such a realm that we were placed in. So this is an alarming point of differences, and this is another alarming point of reactivity, that something must be mediated. And the solution isn't like just a simple ripping off of a Band-Aid, but this is... it's not as simplified as that. Again, we're looking at the brackets here within the formula, and it's knowing how to mediate. Okay, you go there, I'll go here. Once we have that resolved, there's mediation between the two to form that ultimate result. So the accuracy, the pinpointing of that. So what am I going to say about that? yeah, everything is a process, divine orchestration. So this is just like coming of notice here. And what else are they saying? Yeah, so it takes time to resolve, and it, because of that process being slated, it's we have to take care of these elements one phase at a time. Sorry, 10% battery now. So with that, we find our other groupings that are or we reform our current standing. Let's say that implied stationary group is now a modified control group based on our new findings, and so this new realm that each of us are in allows for steady growth. Yeah, because it's like upping the ante without having like the last word or the one up. It's setting that negative ego aside, like the negativity that's associated with ego, putting that aside and upping the ante ourselves. So this is actually really good. This is actually very good, to have that notice, to be put on notice. So Wheel of Fortune was in reverse behind the Six of Cups. Behind that is Seven of Wands. So there's a lot of defenses up, but I think ultimately these are like other masters within their trade, and maybe we're all within the same umbrella in industry, but it's like pointing the fingers, like, you know, putting some, like a community, putting someone under duress. Yeah, I feel like it, but it's like putting them under like the mic, like the, like, what do you say it, like the mush pot basically. And while this person has their back turned, like welding, you know, doing other things, you see, like, so there's actually two components here. So it could be, this person could be facing like fighting, but then in the parting of ways, because this silhouette implies facing also, with their back turned. So when we have a parting of ways, and each person embodied in here, after the parting of ways, focusing on their own alchemy and within the divinity of the likeness of like achieving that clarity, then we empower each other through our own, you know, stance of, you know, focusing on our own, which is like, yeah, we're empowering each other. While, you know, the back is turned. So this is actually really good. Put that there. I'll crown it. Okay. And then on the top of the deck is Eight of Pentacles in reversal. So this is like when you have a likeness towards others, or you want to like everything to be like happy, and you know, this is the essence of toxic positivity, where like everything's just going to be happy and, you know, hunky-dory and wonderful, and why can't we just like all be friends, etc. And it's like, it's not that freaking simple, okay? So it's like sometimes you just kind of like, this gives me the feels of like the Seven of Pentacles. You just have to be patient with it, like no extra work, don't need to like smother it, just things like, just you did all that you could do, okay? If you're talking about somebody who has passed in the afterlife, all that they could do, even if they did like a ton of ish, that they understood within their own psyche and their own heart, they did all that they could. And so hindsight's 20/20 for them, but it's like all that they can really do is watch over you and like nudge you in like the best directions ever. the conflict is the boundary that you put up within your last flavor of before they left. So it's understanding that, like, we did all that we can do to resolve, if there was a passing away of someone, or having to part ways. It's like, we did all that we could do in this relationship. And to deny it of its freedom within, like, is juvenile. So there's that. Okay. I'm going to cut the deck. 4 of Cups. Yeah. So this is somebody who is, like, holding resentment, just sitting there, like, it's like passing time, dude. No. And the Spirit has their cup right there. Like, come on, just get up. The old times it's over with. Like, you don't have, it's like when there's, like, a tsunami or whatever, and you get that warning, and they're like, no, I'm just going to stay here. And they just die with it, and I'm not, like, talking badly on them, but it's more like, you've got so much more than, like, I don't know. I mean, that's what I'm getting there. I don't know. I was told. But then this is very much given with an angelic design. That there is an option for renewal. Okay. I'm told to cut one more time. 8. Strength, yeah. So this is definitely... this is the roaring. This is like the vocal cords between us all. This is like the Eye of Ra here. Okay. So we've got that. Now the new bottom of the deck is the Lover's card. Interesting. Okay, give me a sec. I'm going to go ahead and plug this in. I feel like I have to cut one more time, cut the deck one more time, but off of, because there's so much, I don't know, behind the, hold on. See, that's not gonna work. I have my muscle massager thing here. So, I accidentally clicked on that while trying to grab this battery thing. Let's see if I can get it back. Okay. So, it's something about, like, kneading out the tension, like, when there's a lot of work that has already been done, like, a lot that has been invested. So I'm going to go ahead and cut the deck, the one that has the 4 of Cups there. You know what? I want to see what's behind the 4 of Cups, though. Because there's resentment being held here. Like, there's, like, like, wanting to preserve the good times that were had. I don't necessarily feel that, but I know that there's a message here for others. Like, they found a certain unity on it. Because they're actually just sitting on 2 cups. They're not sitting back all the way, which they could. But, so I think the good times have been forgotten. What I'm hearing, let the good times roll. I'm hearing that. Yeah, so it's leaning on, like, old connections. Like, the old essence of harmony. When actually sitting upon that is being resistant to the further enablement of, like, developing what that means beyond, like, past. Okay. Hermit. Yeah, so it's going through the dark night of the soul. Each of us having to do that. But it's being let into this portal. To walk into it. To observe. Like a museum. As above, so below. The light as well as the dark. Yeah, that's what it's saying there. Okay. All right. Okay, so I guess this one's going to be brief because now, oopsie. Again, shungite made its way to my hands. Now we're doing the Bananagrams. This was a quick one. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. How does this relate to this assassin energy? I think when you're in a cold, hard world like that, pushes you into making, into the role of make or break decisions. When you're employed to do that because of how good you are at it, finite discernment, the execution part of it as well. I think the discernment holds higher priority in that because there's a realm of ethics. And so when we're looking at sacrifice, sometimes we disagree. Like, sometimes there's some feuding, but then ultimately at the core, we see the divine point of it all. So that's an ultimately sacrificial gesture, when you have to end something in order, or to for the greatest good, to preserve the core of how do I say it? The core essence of the other. Interesting. Okay, so we have AOWTOJ. Yeah, they're saying, because this is the first letter that fell. It's what those that I've called upon. That's bringing your A game. Okay, so MTAFEDRTTBEOYSOWG. Okay. I have dream. Oh my gosh, let me just show you, okay? Okay, sorry. Excuse my... See, we have dream right there. And it's in reversal, so it feels like we're like kind of falling away. Why is it falling away from me? Okay. Okay, let me just... I gotta write this stuff down now, gosh. Get my pencil. Okay. To reach over. Okay. Wait, taking care of business? I don't know. That's not the one that I originally got. But I'm trying to... Shoot, now I forgot. Okay. Okay, angels, please remind me. Dude, I forgot. It's okay. I feel like world is in here. WORL. Do we have L? No, we don't have world. Okay. The T's look like that to me. So we have joy here. Joy. Division. She lost control. What else? I'm getting also oi to the world. Okay, boys. Huh, okay. I'm seeing grow. I think grow is important here. So let's see names here, okay. Dory, Dora, Tori, but with a Y this time. Terry with only one R and one Y, and the Y here. Gary, yeah. Mary. I see maybe. Moore, again, Moore. Ferdy, but with a Y instead. That could be like a nickname then. Serena, but with an E instead. What else here? Let's see, the proximities of this. Something about being moot. I don't know. I forget what that word means, but I don't know. There's there's unusual names here. I think I see Matador. Ador. So it's putting up with bull. That's funny. So it's take a bow. Okay. Anything else here? Well, of course we see ego or egos. Edda. Okay. I think that's all that I'm going to draw upon there for now. And then let's go with grow first, okay? Excuse me. Okay. Jaws. When we looked at the lion in the strength card, it's like it's open, it's roaring, but it's speaking something. So this is something having something to say, like big to say. So sometimes speaking up for yourself in the most divine sense is not actually vocalizing it, but within your gestures and walking away from certain situations that yeah. So we're looking at like the jaws of life here. So let's put that together. I also see water. Again, we're working with the water element like a lot here. That goes with growth, yeah. I see bottom. Bottom. I see bottom. Okay, so let's reserve that aside. Diode. I don't know why I'm seeing diode. No. Diode is with an I, not a Y. Okay. But today, I'm seeing today. I don't know why. Water. Hydrate more, cleanse more, something about that. Right. even the expelling of water. So you gotta like do something active in order to sweat certain things out. Yeah. Yeah. Let me just move this here. Bring it down a bit to allow for more growth. Okay. Bottom. So we have F and T left here. It could be full-time. It could be TF. So they could be initials. I don't know. Is that right? F and T left. I mean, F, E, and T. Goodness, where that disappeared. That was weird. Something about February. What's EFT? I forgot. Eight, set, jet. Jaws. You know, drawing back on a previous reading recently, we're talking about like the dental checkup within that strength card, being able to check it. So someone's checking like our jaws. I don't know so much for me, but I know that I've checked others. Okay. FE, yeah. For like expediting the journey from one place to the other. This is a strong hand, like an iron fist, because we have FE here, signifier on the elemental table for iron, and it's sharing the E with jet. Jet is also something that is a stone that we should probably be working with, or I am, but you should be working with, because within our mentality, like especially if there's a lack of clarity, there's also the intrusion points that we don't realize when others are coming in and like messing with that clarity as well. So like for some of you, there could be bindings on you that you don't realize that are messing with your psyche, with your ability to make substantially beneficial decisions. Yeah, so it's like you don't really know yourself because like you're making these like, I'm hearing dumbass decisions. That's what they're telling me. So anyway, again with the iron fist and jet. Jet helps with preventing the psychic attack, like manipulations. They're here to help you expedite your journey. It's very lightweight, so like even if you buy it by the gram, it's like it's not even like it's not a big cost. So let's go ahead and put this all here together. There's something else here. Where was that other one? I'll go ahead and grab it from here. There, 7. Toe. And where was that other card? Okay. So let me just put it all together here. Kind of as so you can see it. So that's what we've got here. All right. I hope that helped. So now that this reading is officially over, and by the way, this is Septarian, within its make. So, from what I understand, it also helps with decision making for new beginnings. There's other, I'm just generalizing it because there's a triad of components here. We have calcite for the primary here, almost coming off as honey calcite. And then I think, is it limestone or something of that sort? Oh, but it also has aragonite here, strewn in here. So aragonite is for structural architects. Yeah, so very much like builders, designers. What do you call it? Design. What do you call it? I don't know. Design. What do you? Why am I? Graphic designers, engineers. Aragonite comes in many different forms, but I believe that's aragonite, and then some kind of like marble, like limestone, or begins with an L. I forget, but definitely calcite, which is an energy amplifier. They say quartz is how do I say it? Because like quartz magnifies other like energy. How do I say it? This is within. Calcite works from within. Whereas like quartz has its own, but like has its own standing, but it calls upon, like draws upon. Like how do I say it? Like it there's something about like push and pull communications with quartz, whereas calcite is more like it's like confidence in just who you are, like happiness, just here, with like, I don't know, it's definitely not complacency, but it's exudes, how do I say it? I don't remember how to say it. I don't know. I consider any calcite to be a happy stone. That's all there is to it. It has certain specialties based on this coloring, but overall, it's like, to me, it's a happy stone. Yeah. All right, so I think that's it for now. Now that so I'd like to go ahead and thank my sponsors, my supporters, Goddess Kali, Lord Shiva, our star families, Jesus Christ, our ancestors, the elementals of light and love as well, and who else do we call upon? Ascended masters of the like, yeah. Angels, of course. I thank you. I just wanted to close out with you as a last but not least. All right, so I think that is it. So now that this reading is officially over, I close out all portals, sending all energies back, thanking you for your respect for time, my space, my energy, my work, that of our children's, and then some. Sending you all back in light and love with your appropriate karmas due, helping with that rollout. In light and love, I close all portals now.